Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of Tech This Week. My name is Apalak. So in today's Tech This Week, we're going to deep dive into the frenzy world of social media and understand, how social media has evolved and shaped over the past 2 decades, and what's the speculation as far as its future goes, right? And I'm sure you'll all agree, social media has gone through waves of change. So, in fact, at least I remember, I'm sure there are a lot of youngsters here who probably may not remember. Do you remember a social media platform called Orkut? So this was launched back in 2004, and it marked a complete new era of social media platforms quickly gaining popularity. In fact, we had certain other platforms like MySpace and Friendster, which were mostly popular in North America. But between 2004 and 2010, we saw Orkut and Facebook dominate display, right? With having large global user base. However, in fact, if my memory serves correct, Orkut and Facebook were launched pretty much around the same time. And despite their simultaneous rise, we saw, Orkut began losing its market share and ultimately shut down in September 2014. And Facebook pretty much became the dominant force as far as social media goes. But the question is, why did Orkut lose this race? So initially, for those who have worked on who use Orkut, it was a simple and easy to use platform. But with time and as user base grew, it became complicated and slow, right? I think it's a classic challenge of when you scale. With scale comes its own challenges. So uploading photos, navigating through pages became difficult. Its user interface remained unchanged, which worsened the user experience. But in contrast, Facebook offered a more dynamic newsfeed. It stayed relevant by looking beyond personal interactions, that's where probably Orkut failed to do. So it transformed into a marketing and advertising powerhouse, engaging users in ways Orkut couldn't match. So the key takeaway here is it was the necessity of a social media platform like a Facebook or an Orkut to innovate continuously to stay relevant, right? Facebook successfully captured the attention of Gen Y through constant innovation. But, as I say, every day the new day. Facebook now faces the challenge of staying relevant with the rise of new platforms like, TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. It is said that many of the youngsters, which is primarily the Gen Z, they probably would rather be on a platform like Snapchat or TikTok or Instagram, because it provides an immediate engagement and resonates with their generation. Whereas you have platforms like micro-blogging platforms like X, formerly Twitter, which appeals to the Gen X and the millennials, right, who enjoy voicing their opinion. So it's not far-fetched for us to imagine that Facebook might face a similar fate as Orkut, or for that matter, any of these platforms, unless they keep on innovating and they keep on resonating with the audience that they do. Because you have to remember one important thing. What is the monetization channel? Typically, as much as I know, largely for a company like Facebook, the biggest revenue stream happens to be advertising. Now, advertising, as we all know, be it traditional media or social media, it all depends on the user base. And if your user base is waning, so it is always about stickiness of content. If your stickiness of content and your user base starts waning, the advertisers will also leave. So I think this is where you have to understand why it is important to stay relevant, right? So I'd probably like to just conclude here by saying, if you effectively see when folks like us started using social media, we were crazy about social media because we never engaged or connected with people the way social media helped us doing that. Now, today's generation takes it for granted, right? But they understand much more about data privacy. They don't want to make everything public, right? Their opinions matter. So that's why you see a shift in the usage patterns as well. So, and over the time, what we've also seen is, riding on the high popularity and vast amounts of user data, social media has kind of become indispensable. And we've seen in history, whenever any institution becomes overwhelmingly powerful and kind of threatens the people, people tend to rise up and take matters into their own hands, right? We've seen history come up with renaissance of many types, right? We've had Bengal Renaissance, we've had the French Revolution, and so on and so forth. I know I'm going a step back in history, but what I'm trying to say is, whenever a renaissance happens, it challenges the established power structures. This scenario could very well unfold with social media as well. The immense power held by these few social media giants could spark a movement towards democratization. People might start demanding more control over the data and the content they consume and share. This could lead to an emergence of decentralized platforms where power is more evenly distributed and users have a greater say in the governance of these platforms. So as more and more people become aware of the digital rights and the implications of centralized control, we might witness a shift towards a more balanced power dynamic. So this new landscape, the monopoly of the few entities could diminish, giving way to a more equitable and user-centric social media ecosystem. Again, like I said, this is our hypothesis. This is just a way of looking at how the future may unfold. It may not come out as true. It may continue to how it is, but that's it from my end. Have a wonderful week ahead. Bye.